What's up? Thank you for clicking on my YouTube channel. Look, there's hope. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button for more inspirational content. If you're looking to book a session with me to get out of your victim mentality, or if you think you have victim mentality, go ahead and contact me at 904-252-9949. So this video is about the first step to change. What are the steps that you have to take to actually change yourself emotionally, to not be a victim anymore, to not blame others for where you are anymore, to not be conscious of your decisions and conscious of the emotions that you have. We have to take accountability for the emotions we have, for our actions, and we just have to stop being the victim of everything that happens into our life. And I'm going to teach you how I got out of victim mentality and into a coach mentality with these steps. The first step is accountability. You want to acknowledge basically what you did wrong, to others. So if you're in a situation where you are affected by this situation emotionally, you want to examine what happened. You want to go back and think back what actually happened. What are some things that I could have did differently? It doesn't matter if the worst thing happened to you. You have to take accountability for the part you played. And then we want to shine the light on others. We want to make sure that we understand the role that others played in this. So those are the first thing you want to do is take accountability. And we also want to take accountability emotionally. We can take accountability on our physical actions, but we also have to take accountability for our emotional state. How do we feel? And I'm going to let you know what accountability actually means. So accountability means the obligation or willingness to accept or to acknowledge others' behaviors, or the one who's responsible for the behavior. So emotionally, we are responsible for our emotions. So we want to acknowledge and recognize the emotions that we are feeling, and we want to just recognize, hey, I feel down, I feel upset, I feel depressed, I feel insecure, or I feel guilty, not good enough, shameful. All of those emotions we want to write down. We want to acknowledge. Step 2 to changing, the first step to change is forgiveness. We want to forgive ourselves for what we could have did differently. We want to basically forgive the past you. If you did something that you're ashamed of, if you did something that you feel guilty about, you want to forgive the past you. You want to forgive that person for even staying in situations that person was not supposed to stay in. So you want to forgive. You want to forgive yourself for what you could have did differently. You want to forgive the past you for allowing certain circumstances to happen. You want to also forgive the ones who may have hurt you. Okay. And step 3 is very important, meaning you want to heal the wounds that are still coming up. We want to heal the wounds that are still triggering us. So if something happens and it triggers you to feel guilty, shame, unwanted, and it could be something so simple. It could be someone just saying something to you so simple that it triggered something inside of you, a wound, and you want to make sure you acknowledge those triggers and say, well, why do I feel these ways? For example, someone could come up to you and just say, hey, you didn't do something, or you just didn't clean up after yourself, or you didn't do this or that. And it may trigger something inside of you that makes you feel guilty, shame, unwanted, unloved. And that's actually a deeper meaning to it. It's actually a deeper meaning to it. And when you can actually heal that, you'll notice if something of that nature ever happened again, that trigger you wouldn't be triggered. Okay. So step 1 is accountability. Step 2 is forgiveness. And step 3 is an extension of step 2. You have to heal to forgive. You have to heal. You can try to forgive someone, but if you're not healed, it's going to be a little difficult. Step 4 is to create new boundaries. Create a new plan for yourself. Create boundaries with you and others, and make sure you actually stand on your values. And if you feel bad about standing on your values, if you feel bad about having boundaries, go ahead. That's a trigger. Go ahead and start to heal. Go ahead and figure out, why do you have a hard time setting boundaries? Why do you have a hard time saying no, or this is not what I want? Why do you have a hard time doing that? So you also want to have empathy for others. You also want to have boundaries, and you also want to make sure you're open and empathetic, because you don't want to, constantly shun other people or put other people's emotions down and yours above them. But you want to be empathetic of how everyone is feeling around you, and you guys can come to a conclusion. But also still have your boundaries and your morals, right? And an extension of this, to have a plan. If you are upset about something, what is your plan to get you out of that rut? What is your plan to relax your nervous system? What is your plan that doesn't involve anything outside of you? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe alcohol or substances or a tea or a coffee, anything that is outside of you that could be taken away from you. And if it's taken away, what are you going to do, right? So we want to do things that involve us, maybe showering, or maybe relax, stretching, journaling, singing, talking to God, going on a walk. Any of those things are great ways to combat those emotions, and to let yourself know that you're going to get through these emotions, that these emotions aren't going to stay forever. And step 5, everything comes back in full circle. Accountability is step 5. Forgiveness is step 5. Healing. Basically, continue to have accountability, to continue to forgive, continue to heal. And that is going to get you where you want to be emotionally and psychologically. You want to continue to take accountability. You want to continue to heal. You want to continue to have new boundaries. You want to continue to acknowledge your feelings. You want to continue to understand, why do I feel these ways? You want to continue to forgive yourself and not be hard on yourself because you had a bad moment or a bad day or a bad week or a bad couple weeks, a bad month, a bad year. You want to forgive yourself for those things, right? Because this is a little disclaimer. This is the end of the video. I started my healing journey in 2020 when the pandemic happened, a little bit before the pandemic. And it's 2024, and I have seen the most growth literally this year. Literally this year, but I literally had a lot of growth over time. I wasn't perfect. I went through a lot of depression. I went through a lot of dark times. Definitely 2020 through 2022. A lot of dark times where I had to literally, I had no one, and I had to get through it, or I was going to be another statistic of committing suicide. I had 2 kids. I did not want that to happen, but the emotions were there were a lot at the moment. I felt, this was around the time where I realized I was a single mother, and I had 2 boys to raise. My son was going to school, having issues in school, big issues. It weren't little issues. It was big issues in school. And I had a younger son, and I was just trying to stay afloat. I was just trying to not feel guilty, not feel bad, not feel like I didn't have anybody. Even though some people tried to help, I always felt alone. I always felt like this was not going to be better because his father wasn't in his life. He didn't have father figures around. And those were the things that were bothering me. But it also other things bothered me. such as raising my children alone. So it was a lot of shame, guilt for my past decisions, my past actions, and for what the consequences or repercussions were, and how I can't change it. And it was a lot. Okay. And I had to dig through everything, and I finally came out on top. I finally was able to be grateful and thankful for my life that I have. Try not to listen to what other people are saying. Try not to listen to content that trigger you. Try not to, read anything that makes you triggered until you know that you're healed from it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button. Text me if you are looking for any coaching on how to get out of victim mindset. If you need help with the 5 steps to change, I can help you. We can start with step 1. Remember, it took me 4 years to even get to a point where I am not depressed, where things could happen and I could be over it. But I want to help other people. I want to help you guys get to that point too. So book a session so I can assist you. We'll go from step 1 through step 5, basically. And no rush. If you're looking to have this done overnight, it won't happen overnight. It is a process. Your body has to relearn the new you. And I believe that you guys can do this. I believe that depression will not stick to you. Shame, guilt will not stick to you, but you will become a better person by the end of this year, even if you start taking accountability.